His mother was abused and neglected by the caregivers in her nursing home. We first showed you the shocking hidden camera video a year ago, and now that woman's son, who set up those hidden cameras, is fighting to protect all of Ohio's elderly from that same mistreatment. News 5's Emily Hamilton in the newsroom with more on those efforts.
Rob, the proposed legislation is called Esther's Law, named after Steve Pisker's mother, Esther, and she was in her late 70s living with Alzheimer's disease, something her son believes made her an easy target for repeated abuse.
She grabs her by the back of the head, and she's screaming in her face, and then she plops her in a chair and jabs her in the face.
That's Steve Pisker describing just some of the abuse his mother endured at the hands of her caregivers. And there's more.
She would grab my mother and pick her up out of the chair and kind of like hip throw her onto the bed.
Pisker says before installing the hidden camera in his mother's room, he notified management multiple times about the abuse he suspected, but his concerns were ignored.
It's like on a assembly line, you know, you go from one to the other, and you're doing the same things from one to the other, instead of treating them with dignity and respect.
The camera was a last resort that he says opened his eyes to a systemic problem.
They'd ask for something and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So, I mean, they just treated them as not people anymore.
And Ohio lawmakers agree.
We have cameras that are inside of daycares that give surveillance to our children. Why not have that same type of security for our loved ones who are in senior care?
Multiple state representatives are co-sponsoring a bill that would allow family members to electronically monitor their loved ones in nursing homes through surveillance cameras.
And they had no way of actually just verifying what happened with their family members. They weren't sure if it was because of their age and their cognitive abilities, or that somebody really did some harm to them.
There has been past pushback about whether surveillance cameras are a violation of patient privacy. But State Representative Juanita Brent says the additional surveillance measures are crucial.
It's an extra set of eyes for all of our family members who are really in their most vulnerable state.
The Ohio House of Representatives will hear the proposed legislation Monday, and it's important to note that if that bill becomes law, the nursing home resident or their power of attorney would have to agree to the surveillance camera in their room. Reporting live in the newsroom, Emily Hamilton, News 5.